Even though we'll give everybody a couple minutes to get here. But yeah, we had a short period of time. We had a 1 hour workshop on how to use this thing. And that was going in and setting up our classes so I could drop it over in, and how to drop it over into Moodle. And just everything, how to set it up, how to record, and so on. So, and how to use Notepad on it, how to get your solutions on it, how to get your PowerPoint on it. And we'd do all that in about an hour. So we ended up helping one another. Well, now this is pitiful, just this many showing up.
Yes. I don't ever think do the because there's so many true and false.
What time is it, Mark? See, we're a minute late here.
And then like the tests, like test 1 and 2 were like 50 questions. So then test 3, in management, she told us, oh, we're the same. Like I do the same format. So I was like, oh, marketing's in the same format. It was like 100 questions. And I don't know. I was so bad. I think I got 1 point away from failing, or 1 point away from passing, and her curve was only 1 point.
1 point away from passing and 1 point away from failing. What are you talking about?
On my marketing exam last semester.
Yeah.
Didn't do too good. It was Michelle. But I got an A on my marketing plan, so that's all that matters.
I had taught my community college. I had to teach everything. Taught business law, marketing, small business management, principal management, econ, 1 and 2, supervision. Had to teach it all.
Yeah, I didn't like marketing too much.
Okay, we'll get class started wherever you are. Not many in class today. Monique is here. Sydney is not. Cole is here. Matthew said he would be live streaming. Let's see, Tua is not here. Lindsay is. Henrik's not here yet. Taylor's not here. Amanda, she live streams. Bo back there is not here. Maya is not here. Susan Perry's not here. Haley's not here. Greg is here. Clayton's not here. Jonathan is here. Carson is here. Antonio is not here. Nia is here. Okay, so we have 1/3 here. 6 out of 18 is an even 33 1/3%. And we'll probably have 2 more dragging in before the period's over. But anyway, we need to start class. And those folks out there live streaming, please get me a 1-page summary before Tuesday. All right? You've got plenty of time to watch this video, do your homework, study accounting. Okay? All right. Now, your homework was what, Lindsay, for today?
It was exercise 13, 14, 17, 18, and 20, and problem 1A.
All right, we'll cover those and we'll get other material covered hopefully today. But looking at those exercises on page somewhere around 570, I have to back up a page to 69. Now, once again, payroll entries, we're spending too long on this chapter. This makes 2 weeks on this chapter. Okay, just getting started and so forth. Okay, I told you at least 2 more will come in. There's one of them. Our star baseball player. Kendrick, I sent your grade change in yesterday, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right, anyhow. Number 13, again, if you're live streaming, please do your homework, please review these solutions. And we've spent 2 weeks, and there's a lot in this chapter, but we need to move on and hopefully get into 12 a little bit today. All right, payroll entries. The payroll register for Gamble Company for the week off is, we have salaries, we have Social Security tax withheld, we have Medicare tax withheld, we have federal income tax withheld. Journalize the entry, record payroll for the week off. State and federal unemployment taxes were calculated at the rate of 5.4% and 0.6% on 225,000. You see, there's 1,250,000 of salaries. Only the first 6,000 of that, some states 8 probably, is federal and state unemployment tax. Okay, and again, the SUTA, if you're not had any layoffs, instead of 5.4%, there's companies near us only paying 1% or 0.5%, not 5.4%. And some states may take it up to 8 or 9% if you've had a lot of unemployment. So, if you are working for a company, they hate to lay you off because you'll go draw unemployment. Okay, and that ups their rate when you go draw unemployment. Okay, so much for that. Jonathan, how about that first entry?
Debit salaries expense. 1,250,000. Then you credit Social Security tax payable for 75,000. Medicare tax payable for 2,750. Credit employees federal income tax payable for 250,000 and salaries payable 506,200.
Okay, I'm trying to get down to that entry, and we do debit salaries expense, as Jonathan said, and then they've got all the deductions done for you. SS tax payable, MC tax payable, FIT payable. Then the net is the salaries payable. The take-home pay is 906,250. Now, the other entry I warned you about, these 2 entries you'll have on your first test. So please, Cole, did you have this next entry?
You debit payroll tax expense, and then you credit Social Security tax payable, Medicare tax payable, state unemployment tax payable, federal unemployment tax payable.
All right, now look at these figures. These figures match 75, 75, 18,750, 18,750. Your employer has to pay the same thing to Medicare and Social Security that you have to pay, okay? Come in, Susan. You hurt my tooth. My ESPN is still working. All right. So the total is 107,250. Credit your Social Security tax payable, Medicare tax payable, state unemployment. Now here, SUTA payable, FUTA payable, if you want to shorten that. But that is the 2 entries you have to have in payroll accounting. You go to make a deposit at the bank. We got a ledger account, remember? How much would be in that Social Security ledger account? How much Social Security tax payable is in the ledger account after we post? Well, look at it.
Total amount for the year.
What's the total amount, Susan? Donna?
75,000.
Oh,
One time, about 2 times. When you post, you're going to have how much in Social Security? 150. So then you'll take that to the bank and you'll debit Social Security tax payable 150,000, and you'll credit cash. You can deposit that at any bank, and they will put it in your treasury account for the federal government. And also, you take to the bank federal income tax. All right. And also on the Medicare, you take that to the bank at 2 times. And state, you send that into the state of West Virginia, Virginia, wherever. The federal employment tax payable, if you're a small company, you send that in once a year, but you may have to send it in once a month if it's too much. Okay, so exercise 13, when we have a test, probably can't have it next Thursday, but hopefully we'll have a test. The third class meeting from today, but you'll ask, what can I study for this chapter? Okay, and what can you study? You can study exercise 13 for one. Let's see, Susan came in and
So Lester, did you ever get the, right homework up there, the answers? It still says spring for 2017.
what does?
Yeah.
I checked out my other classes and got them straight. But you're probably right.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot.
But some
I was
of
on the
you-
wrong computer, but I don't have
How many of you can still get into the 201? Moodle 201? I'll have to drag that over. Okay. I'll try to drag that today. So, okay. I'll drag it over there today. Take a few minutes. Let's see, who came in? A tutor? Yeah, okay. Wanted to make sure a tutor. All right. Now, number 14 is more payroll entries. Journalize the total amount will help the entry to record payroll and the journal entry to record the payroll tax expense. Okay, now I'm just going to show you this one because it's the same thing. All right, number 14 and 13 are the same thing. You're still recording payroll, wage expense. All right, you may have had to calculate Social Security and Medicare. Federal income tax was given to you and net. Now you got payroll tax expense, you got Social Security payable, Medicare payable, and state unemployment, and there should be federal there too. All right, these little calculations shouldn't bother you. Well, we went up from 30% to 50%, 9 out of 18. Any question on these two exercises? We don't have time to practice in class either. Later, if we have time, we will. All right, now they showed you, of course, the calculations here. Okay, number 17. Accrued vacation pay. A business provides its employees with varying amounts of vacation per year. Now, the estimated amount of current year's vacation pay is $54,000. Journalize the adjusted entry required on January 31st, the end of the first month, the current year to record the accrued vacation pay. $54,000. Lindsay, do you have that, dear?
No, I do not.
Anybody have that one? Monique, what you got? Now, these things are just a one-time hit and miss problem. You don't have a lot of practice with them. They're in the book. We'll do at least one exercise with all scenarios, warranties, vacation pay, pensions, whatever. These are liabilities. Debit vacation pay expense and credit vacation pay payable. So now when John Doe takes a 2 weeks vacation, you debit vacation pay payable. And you give him his money, credit cash. And you still have to take taxes out on it. If he gets 2 weeks paid vacation, you still take out all the taxes. Okay. Vacation payable will go down to number 18, which is a pension payable. Okay. This company operates a chain of gift shops, blah, blah. Now, by the 15th of the month, following month, the end of each quarter, assume that the pension cost is $365,000. You know, at your age, you don't worry about pensions. You don't worry about retirement. So when you get out there in the world of work, you will, and you'll get older every day, and you'll soon be as old as I am. Okay? And passes by fast, don't it, Susan? Time flies by. Hey, these semesters fly by. Okay, so Kendrick, you got that answer?
Yeah, your debit pension expense and credit unfunded pension liability.
All right. You will debit pension expense, you'll credit unfunded pension liability. Unfunded. Unfunded means you just got a journal entry. It means nothing. But when you take it and put it somewhere, maybe put it in a bank or in a trust fund, all right, and you debit unfunded pension liability, you credit cash. But you know, a lot of these companies, when they went bankrupt, a lot of people lost their pensions. All those people in Enron lost a lot of pensions when Enron went down, and other companies went down and they lost pensions. And that was money people were counting on. Okay. With the new tax plan that takes effect this year, employers hadn't said anything about upping their employees' pensions, but they are upping their minimum wage. They're giving a bonus. I have a niece and her husband works down in Disney World in Florida, and they both got $1,000 bonus, so forth. And hopefully your parents, your relatives will see a bigger paycheck, especially in February, when everybody gets the tax rates worked out. All right. Any question? This is pensions. One entry, one shot at it, okay? We may have it in another homework problem assignment, but not much. And then we'll go down to number 20. Number 20 is accrued product warranty. Parker manufacturer wants his product for 1 year. The estimated product warranty is 2.5% of sales. Assuming the sales were $600,000, in February, a customer receives a warranty repair requiring $200 of parts and $110 in labor. Internalize the adjusted entry required at the end of the year for the $600,000. Well, if you got an automobile, you may get a warranty. If you get a new TV, you may get a warranty. Have any of you taken things back because the warranty, it tore up and the warranty was still good? Have you taken anything back or had it repaired or replaced? Okay. Okay, Monique, do you have this entry?
You debit product warranty, credit product warranty.
All right. You see, all of these are debit to expense and credit to payable. All right. 2.5% of sales is $15,000. Now, when somebody takes in for repair, you will debit product warranty payable $310, and your credit supplies you had to use, and wages payable, your workers earned $110 to repair that item. I put 4 new Michelin tires on my car, and those things are low profile. I hate them, but they couple $100 a piece. It's over $800, and I had them on there about a month. And I was on one of these roads where, you know, the grader takes off the top layer of asphalt, and they took down about 2 inches. But then there's a bridge that's concrete. So you got 2 inches, so you got a 2-inch hump there, don't you? So I had a road sign warning to slow down. And I did slow down. But, I know when I hit that, it could have done something, because it really shook the car. But on one side, it caused a bubble on one tire, and it caused the other one almost to blow out. Luckily, they did not blow out, and I drove it probably for 2 weeks before I even noticed it. But it was my fault, it was the road's fault. But Michelin, they did pay half, they split it with me, 50-50. So forth. But, to replace 2 tires. So Michelin took 50%, they call it goodwill warranty. And, that's 50%, $214 was their cost, $214 was my cost for 2 tires. So anyhow, warranties do work. It is everyday business. So it's easy entry. Now we go to another problem, problem 1, that covers a bunch of liability transactions, I hope. We purchase merchandise on account. Carson, that's a common old entry from last semester. Do you remember what you would debit when you purchase merchandise on account?
Accounts payable.
And what would you credit? What are you buying?
Merchandise.
All right. So now turn that around and debit merchandise inventory and credit accounts payable, and you got it.
All
right. All right, so we bought merchandise and we bought it on account. All right, then we go down and we issued a 30-day 4% note. All right. Now, so what do you think? We're going to give up this accounts payable for a notes payable. So what do we debit?
Notes payable.
All right, you debit. Come in. I thought people from your country would be up at 6 o'clock, be over here sitting at the door at 7 o'clock. All right, anyhow. Debit accounts payable and credit notes payable. All right, you gave a note. You bought merchandise. You couldn't pay for it in 30 days. So January the 10th, February the 9th, it was due. You just swap it for a note. Now you'll start paying interest, okay? Now we're going to pay for that note, and we're going to pay off for that note. How much interest is on that note? 30 days at 4%, how much interest? Everybody take a minute and calculate. Now you should be bringing a calculator. You can even use your cell phone for calculators if you have to here in class. So it's 4%. How many days? All right.
800.
$800. All right, now we got to get rid of this note by debiting notes payable. And we're going to add $400, and we know the maturity value is $40,800. That's the maturity value. You debit notes payable, you debit interest expense, and your credit cash. Jabul, how do you pronounce your last name? Njie, just the way it looks. Njie? Okay, any question? Bought inventory, gave a note, paid for it. So notes payable. Now we're going to borrow $160,000 from a bank, 45 days, 5%. All right. When we borrow money from the bank, we're going to debit what? Anybody? We'll debit what? And credit?
Notes payable.
All right, here we gave our accounts payable for notes payable. Here were we got credit for our accounts payable, gave a note. Here we get cash and we give a note, 160,000. We purchased tools by issuing a $180,000 note, which discounted the note at 5%. Now, we're not paying 180,000 for those tools. That 180,000 includes interest. So find the interest that's built into that 180,000. Take your calculators and do whatever it says. 5%, how many days? 5%, 60 days. All right, how much is that?
1,500.
All right, now that's the interest you're paying. So those tools only cost a difference, 178,500. That's what the tools are worth. Now, had you paid cash, you could have got the tools for 170,500, but it's got interest of 1,500 built in. Now, this is interest taken out in advance, and it's called discounting. So on a test, if you see the word discounting, take the interest out up front. If it don't say discounted, then you pay the interest at the end.
So
Here it's paid at the end, here it's paid up front. That makes sense, Lindsay?
yeah, yes.
Then we paid this bank the interest due on the note of May the 1st and renewed the loan. Now, this note up here, we can't pay it. So here's what we did. We only paid the interest. We paid $1,000 interest. Debit interest expense and credit cash. But we had to take out a new note, so we debit the new note and we credit the old note. So you can put in parentheses new if you want to, and parentheses old if you want to, if it helps. But you gotta get rid of the old note, put down the new note. Paid the bank the amount owed on the new note. All right, after the time goes by, we pay the note, debit interest expense, and credit cash. So this is the same note. We renewed it, then we paid it. Then we pay this other company amount due on the note of June the 1st. All right, we've already paid the interest, haven't we? So all we have to do is debit what to pay this note off? What do we debit? Notes payable and credit what? Cash. No interest expense. Why? We paid it up front. It was discounted. Okay. We purchased office equipment for $400,000, paying $100,000 down, issued a series of 10 5% notes for $30,000 each, coming due at 30-day interval. Are you gonna pay $100 down? You're gonna finance $400. So look at your entry. All right, you just make one entry for notes payable, even though they're due every 30 days. But you debit the equipment, credit notes payable, and credit cash. Now, when 30,000 comes due, you'll pay it. It will be at 30. Some of those will be current liabilities. Some of them may be long-term. Settled a liability lawsuit with a customer for $260,000 payable in January. O'Donnell accrued the loss in a litigation claims payable account. All right. Here, you know you're going to have to pay it, $260,000. So it's litigation claims payable. You can call it lawsuit claims payable if you want to. And debit lawsuit loss. Have any of y'all ever sued anybody for anything? No? Not yet. But now a lot of companies have been sued, faulty products, or people, children getting hurt on them. Like I said, the Firestone Stars the other day caused SUVs to roll over or to go bad, and Firestone was sued. McDonald's was sued for hot coffee. I think McDonald's was sued because somebody got gained weight on their food. They ate too many French fries and hamburgers. They gained weight and sued McDonald's. McDonald's is trying to do a healthier menu, and they probably try to post their calories and things. Well, these lawsuits are about a lot of changes. Back when I was in college, lawsuits were so common, somebody wrote a book on Sue the Bastards. And a lot of people must have read that book. But the only lawsuit I ever had was over this little finger. All right. I tried out a John Deere lawnmower back when. And anyway, I was used to a brake and a clutch on a lawnmower. And this one did have the clutch and the brake. Of course, now, you know, just got one pedal on most lawnmowers. But anyway, I never had any instructions. So the dealership was on a hill. And of course, I tried the lawnmower out around the parking lot. And I went back down toward the hill. It was paved to park the lawnmower. And I hit that brake. I almost stood on that brake, but would not slow down. Okay, so it went over the little curve, threw me into one of these big limestone rock piles. Okay, skinned up my chest, my head, but broke my finger. And that finger was just hanging down. So anyway, they didn't want to pay my doctor bill. But if they paid my doctor bill, I'd have been fine. They didn't want to pay it. And so I got an attorney, and then their attorney came in. He said, I tried that lawnmower out too, just like you did, and without instructions. See, they should have told me, you have to press the clutch in before the brake will work. Do any of y'all drive a straight shift car? Will the brake work without putting the clutch in? Right. But on that lawnmower, you had to put the clutch all the way in before the brake would work. And I was not told that. And even their lawyer said they were to blame. So they paid my doctor bill and gave me $3,000. The lawyer took $1,000 of that three. I took the other $2,000, bought a Sears Craftsman lawnmower. Anyway, but I don't like to sue people and wouldn't have them. If they just paid my doctor bill, I'd let it go. All right. So paid the amount due on the first note, and this is the last entry of the last problem we're looking at today. Notes payable, $30,000, debit interest expense, $125, and credit cash for the $30,125. Homework to finish this chapter. We will tell this chapter totally goodbye on Tuesday. But I do think you should practice more entries for payroll, 2A. 2A is for Tuesday. And 5A is for Tuesday. And read chapter 12. for Tuesday. Okay. So you know what you gotta do Tuesday. So we're gonna look at chapter 12, the next 35 to 40 minutes. Give me a minute to bring up a PowerPoint. Partnerships and limited liability companies. Okay, how's the textbooks coming along? Kendrick, you have one, no?
Yeah, that's a letter.
Right, how's it coming? On the way. Somebody said theirs got lost.
My work pick,
Workbook.
but they sent me in.
How much you have paid for this workbook online?
44.
So down the bookstore, probably 50 something.
It was 60, I think.
60? But this workbook will help. And some of you are not geniuses in accounting, so this workbook will definitely help, okay? All right. Now, we've been looking at proprietorship. How many people own a proprietorship? Now, Susan owns a proprietorship. One owner, right? Okay, have you ever thought about taking in a partner? Now, who in here is married? I hope Lindsay is. Anyhow. Anyway, is that a partnership, Lindsay?
Sometimes.
No, I think it's a corporation. You're probably the president and the treasurer and the boss, and he's like,
That actually seems better.
is that about it?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Okay, but marriage is a partnership, but business also has partnerships. And I've been in 3 or 4 partnerships. I was in a tax business partnership, a bookkeeping, accounting partnership, a couple of used car lot partnerships. So I've been in probably at least 4. And finally, after the first 2, I had a good contract, and I was in partnership with my brother. The articles of partnership, I don't care who you go into partners with, and explain it, who works how much, and how you can get out, or if you want to let somebody else in, how do you split profits or losses? Those things should be spelled out in a partnership agreement, or you could be doomed for failure. Now, as far as a marriage, what do you think the biggest cause of marriage failure is, Lindsay?
Money.
Breakups, huh?
Money.
Money. She's right, finance. Number 1 cause of marriage divorces. You got a bunch of tit in there. You got mother-in-laws in there, and you've got adultery, and you've got children called divorces and other things, but finance is number 1. So the number 1 thing that causes a partnership to break up is a disagreement. Okay, disagreeing on things. That's why you should spell it out at the beginning. All right. Characteristics of a proprietorship or partnership. Now, if they're in the book, you can read them. A proprietorship is a one owner. You split all the profits and all the losses. You're your own boss. It's easy to start up. It's easy to end. Okay? A lot of advantages to proprietorship. Why do you want to take in a partner, Kendrick?
To learn from it, and you can learn from it, and the work can be easier.
All right, he mentioned 2 reasons to take in a partner. one, the partner may have skills you don't. And two, he can split the work with you. All right? The time or what have you. And of course, money. You'll take in a partner because you need more money. There are different reasons to take in a partner. Okay? And there's also reasons to let a partner go. So we need to look at journal entries for that too. Okay? A partnership is just like a proprietorship. A big disadvantage of a partnership, if Kendrick takes in a partner and that partner makes debts in that business, Kendrick is responsible for it. If that partner wipes out the bank account and moves to another country, Kendrick is responsible for that. So if you ever have a partner in a partnership, make sure they're bonded. Bonded means it's like an insurance. Okay, if he leaves and wipes out the business, then the insurance company would have to replace you somewhat there, or you're not totally responsible. Okay? That's why bank employees have to be bonded in case they rip the bank off. Okay? Illustrate the accounting for forming a partnership. We'll look at it. The accounting for partnership admission and withdrawal, as I said. Accounting for liquidating a partnership. And we're going to look at those items in this chapter. This one has gotten more popular in the last few years. Limited liability. Now, proprietor and a partner, you're liable. All right. Now, let's say there's a zip-in market down the road here. And if you go in and fall on a wet floor, and it's proprietorship, who do you sue? You sue the owner. Let's say it's mom and pop, and they're partners. And you fall on that wet floor, who do you sue? Mom and pop. Well, now let's say mom and pop's got it incorporated. Who do you sue? The corporation. And you cannot take mom and pop's house or car or the shirt off their backs. But in proprietorship, you can lose your house, your car, your personal assets. In a partnership, you can lose your personal assets. That's why a lot of people go with a corporation, sub-S, or a limited liability company. If you see LLC at the end of somebody's name, or a business name, it means it's a limited liability company. They're only liable for certain things. These are the ownership types in this country. Manageable in your country. Is there a lot of individual businesses owned by citizens in your country? Do you have these same forms? Do you have proprietorships and partnerships and corporations? Okay. Now, Russia used to be the big communist country. Now, our country controls the post office. That's big business for the government. Our country has been trying to control the healthcare industry. Okay? But when Russia was pure communist, there was very little capitalism. And capitalism means free enterprise and this type of ownerships. Mr. Imel, the other accounting professor, he went to Russia and stayed on a couple of different times, and he taught some classes on capitalism. Proprietor, one person. Now, here we have lawyers and architects and realtors and physicians, but add in there a tax preparer, the plumber, the repairman, the electrician may be self-employed, the carpenter may be self-employed, the handyman is self-employed. So there are a lot of proprietors out there, a beauty shop, a barber shop, a service station. There are more. This makes up the biggest number of companies in this country. But corporations, back to here, has most of the assets. most of the salaries, most of the employees, most of the profits. Okay? So corporations are the big in this country. Right? It's simple to form. No limit on legal liability. So it just should have said legal liability. The proprietorship is not taxable, but the proprietor pays taxes. Limited life, if the proprietor dies. If Susan dies, is your business dead, Susan? All right. Limited ability to raise capital. The proprietor only raised so much capital. So those are some characteristics of proprietorship. You'll probably read those in the Introduction to Business book, a business law book. You may have seen them in a marketing book. They're floating around everywhere. Okay. You've seen them before, Monique? What course?
Marketing.
Marketing, okay. Partnership, 2 or more. Now, some of our biggest accounting firms, we have 3 or 4 left in this country after one went down with Enron. They may have 1,000 partners. It's a partnership. They may have 1,000 partners. Okay. All right. Again, legal liability. Partnership's not taxable. The partners are taxable. Limited life. If one partner dies or retires, you have to start up another partnership. Limited ability to raise capital. Same characteristics as a proprietor. It's not that complex to form, but you should do this partnership agreement.
What happens when one of the partners ceases
All right.
to exist?
If I were back when I was in a partnership, if one of my partners had died, maybe his wife would have became my partner for his part. Maybe I'd had to pay his wife off for his part. But, or somebody else may have bought out his part, but I would have to do a new partnership agreement. So it's a brand new partnership, no matter who you take in the place of a deal.
He didn't have one, he would go to his kids. You have to pay his kids off.
Kids, everybody's got a relative somewhere.
Would you only have to pay them off if they like left their part to them in the will or something? Like, what if there's no mention of what they want to happen to their part?
That'd be something good to put in a partnership agreement. If a partner dies, what goes to his part? Do you just make your partner the beneficiary of your part? You could do that.
Yeah, because you could just be like, oh, I want my part split between all
Yeah.
partners.
Yeah, you could do that. That'd be good to put in the agreement. And then we get to co-owner of partnership property, mutual. Each partner is an agent. That's a disadvantage of a partnership. But now we will talk about how to split income. It's treated as a partnership, but it has limited liability. Okay, now for example, you take 2 partners, they buy 100 acres of land, and all they want to do is subdivide that land, sell it, and make a profit. You could call that an LLC. They're only responsible for the debts of that 100 acres and getting it subdivided and putting it in underground cable, whatever we're going to do. But anyway, it could not take their personal assets in that case. LLC.
Can you be a proprietor and become an LLC company?
Good question. Yes. It says for small business, whether it's partnership or proprietorship. Let's look at the characteristics and make sure of that too, says. Requires agreement among the owners who are called members. Amount to invest, withdrawal, distribution. Limited legal, only the members invested in the company are subject to claims of creditors. You cannot take the wife's assets. It's not taxable. Again, the individual has to be taxed. Unlimited life, if you got enough partners, you want it to go on, continuity of life, and you might be able to raise more capital. They have become popular. These should be spelled out in your book. And a wrap up. Right now, Joseph Stevenson here at Earl, they own 2 hardware stores. Okay? They agreed to bind their business in a partnership. Now, Stevens agrees to contribute the following: cash, accounts receivable. Now, if you take this business assets, you are going to take cash for 72. Accounts receivable might not all be collected. So if I were taking this person as a partner, I would not give him 16.3 for his accounts receivable. I would not give him 28.7 for his inventory. I might could buy it cheaper. Or his store equipment, I'd have to have it appraised. Or his office equipment. I might want to up this allowance for doubtful accounts. Now his accounts payable, we got to pay the whole bunch. So we take the appraised value. Now here, they're taking everything as it is, I guess. And you're just making an entry on the new books to debiting all his assets, and you're crediting his liability, his doubtful account, and his capital. They took them in as they were, but I would have them appraised. And you'd take in the appraised value. The non-cash assets are recorded at values agreed upon by the partners, as you see. Now, for an LLC, it's the same as a partnership, except that the term members and members, you jot it down, Joe Stevenson member equity, instead of Joe Stevens capital. Okay, now what's Reese putting in? He's putting in cash, inventory, and equipment. He owes some money. His capital is 66,000. All right, now let's look at some methods to split income. Let's say this partnership made $100,000. All right, if there is no agreement and there's only 2 partners, how would we split that $100,000, Cole? No agreement, how would we split it? 50-50, wouldn't it? 50,000 people. If there's no agreement, split it 50-50. If there's 4 partners, 25, 25, 25. If there's 3 partners, 33 and third, 33 and third, 33 and third. 5 partners equal will be 20, 20, 20, 20, and 20. Okay. Now, services of the partners. All right. How do we split that income if Cole and Jonathan are partners and they split it according to the time spent in the business? And Jonathan spends 3 times as much as Cole does. Jonathan works 3 times as much as Cole. How much of that 100,000 are you going to give Jonathan?
If there's no agreement,
No, you're going to make an agreement.
Say,
You're going to make an agreement that Jonathan, that they get paid according to the hours spent in the business. Jonathan gets paid 3 times as much as Cole. So how do you split that 100,000?
75, 25.
That is correct. How'd you arrive at that?
3 divided by 100,000.
What?
100,000 divided by 3.
Well, you can divide 100,000. 3, that gives you 33,333, only 33 cents.
Oh, divided by, I don't know, I just pulled it out of my head.
75% of 1,000 is. She said.
Well, she's right. It is 75-25. Now, you can make up some numbers if you want to. All right, let's say Jonathan works 30 hours and make this up. Then Cole works 10. That's a ratio now. And a ratio, you add those together. What's 30 plus 10? Then 30 over 40 is what percent? What's 30 over? 30 over 40 would be 75%, or 3/4. 10 over. So we got to learn ratios, don't we? All right, ratios, fractions, decimals, percent, they're all the same. All right, add these two together and get 40. That gives you 30 over 40 and 10 over 40. That's fractions. That is decimal 75 and decimal 25. That's decimals. That is 75% or 25%. I want you to see how ratios, fractions, and decimals are all the same. Well, if you divide 40 into 10, you'll get decimal 25, won't you? And if you divide 40 into 30, you get decimal 75. All right, we'll play with that, Susan. Don't worry, I will not leave you on that. We just looked at that. Now we may give salary allowances, and you are not an employee in a partnership. You do not give yourself a paycheck and deduct Social Security taxes. Each partner is responsible for paying his quarterly payments. All right, now here we got a partnership agreement. Jennifer gets 5,000 salary, Crystal gets 4, divide the remainder equal. Now take this number here. They made $50,000. Now split that between these two partners with what you see on that screen. Split that $50,000, give Crystal part of it and Jennifer part of it. Split it. Come up with anything yet? Oh, what'd you come up with?
You give Jennifer 30,000 and 20,000.
All right, now we know that Jennifer gets 5. Is that correct? And Crystal gets 4. Now, if we add those two, draw and write in on this thing, that's 9,000, right? But we want to give out 50,000. So we have 41 to split how? What's half of 41? Now, if I add these up, 25,500, right? And 24,500. That equals 50,000, doesn't it? So I want you in a problem like this to get it to equal 50,000, both vertical and horizontal. Now, we're going to be adding to that. We're going to add, we may give them a salary allowance, and we may give them interest, and then we may split the next part in a 3-to-2 ratio. Now, let me look at something real quick. Okay, now I've got something to write on. Okay. Finally getting used to getting this thing flip it backwards and forth without losing it, so forth. Most of it saves on a toolbar. Okay, so now we're going to split this salary. All right. First off, we're going to work with ratios. We got 3 partners. The ratio is 1 to 2 to 3. What are the fractions? If the ratio is 1 to 2 to 3, what are the fractions?
1/6.
All right. Same as 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6. 1/6 is half of 1/3. 1/3 is 33 1/3. So 1/6 must be 16 2/3. And 2/6 is 33 1/3. 3/6 is 50%. All right. Now, change this one 2 to 3. Change that one to decimals, percents, and fractions. Change 2 to 3 to a decimal, percent, and a fraction. You people at home, you need to participate. You people at home, you can't be playing Xbox at the same time you watch this video. That's why Cole don't stay at home. He'd be on his Xbox. All right, 2/3, 2 to 3, that adds up to what? All right, now what are my fractions?
2/5.
What's my decimal for 2/5?
0.4.
Divide 4 and 5, that's what you'll get. Each one of these adds up to 1. It all adds up to 1. 40, decimal 40 is what percent?
40%.
100%. But anyway, Susan, it's not important that you understand all this. What is important, Susan, that you can at least change those to fractions, add the 2 and 3 and get 5, and split maybe a $60,000 salary, and 2/5 of 60,000 or 40% would be 24,000. 60% would be 36,000. That's what's important. It's important to get the partnership split. Okay, now we're going to look at a problem. Now, also, let's say B and R had a partnership, and B invested 30,000, and R invested 50,000. Now, I might want you to split their income of let's say their income was 200,000 for the first year. And I want you to split that income according to capital investment. This is their capital investment. How do you split that 200,000? Can you figure it out? You split that 200,000 in a ratio according to their investment. What would you do to do that, folks? All right, what is 50 plus 30?
80.
All right, 80 over 30 over 80 would be what? And 50 over 80, you're back to fractions, decimal, percents, and ratios. 30 over 80 is 3/8, isn't it? That's 37.5%, I think. So I'd multiply this by 37.5%. All right, and then by 62.5%. Now, you can take that 200,000, Susan, if you want to, and use the fractions. 30 over 80 is 3/8. You can multiply that by 3/8 and get the same thing as multiplying by 37.5%. All right? In case you're wondering who B and R are, that's Batman and Robin. All right? Okay, no, we got a lot to do with this chapter. Okay,
I'm sorry. You got so-
I did. Did somebody get 200,000 times 3/8 is how much?
75,000.
And then the other person gets the remainder, which is 125. Some of these you can get without working out, okay? But that's your first answer. All right, now, if three partners had investment of 20, 30 to 50, now what is my ratio? If I split income according to ratio, what are my ratio?
$200,000.
That does equal 100,000, Lindsay. What about it? I'd put 20 over 100 and 30 over 100 and 50 over 100, would you? But you know what I see? I just see the first numbers, 2 to 3 to 5, which adds up to 10. 2 tenths, 3 tenths, 5 tenths. Or 20 over 100 reduces down to what? What is 20 over 100?
2 tenths, 1/5,
30 over 100?
3 tenths,
And 50 over 100.
1/2.
All right. 1/2, or 5 tenths, 3 tenths, 1/5, or 2 tenths. We got to have 10 tenths to make 100, don't we? Okay, folks, we would read the chapter. In case you're wondering who these letters are and how my mind works, that's over, hill, and dale. I'll see you on Tuesday. Okay, for you people out there watching the video, we are stopping right now at 20 to 11.